Well, welcome to edition number 2 of Street Talk. And we're so glad you could join us today. And we're going to have some fun. We have our good friend Elvis. Elvis, you got to move up this time. You were in the back seat last time.
Now I'm up in, I'm in
you
the
got,
regular
got
chair.
moved up to the
Yeah,
front row.
I like it.
And we have our good friend, storyteller, singer, songwriter. I hate to tell you where he's from, but he's traveled all over the world, and we're going to discuss some of those things. And we have Ed Montana with us today. Local legend around town for sure, but then pretty big time name when we talk about some of the things you've done. I guess we shouldn't say in how many years, should we?
Never quit. I'm still going. Thank the good Lord.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
So here we are in Amarillo, Texas, with Street Volkswagen, just having a good time. We love the fact that y'all join us and watch. And we did Lindsay Lane last time and had such laughs in our Atlas, and we'll talk a little bit about cars as we go too. But today we're going to talk about Ed first.
I'm glad we're not in the Bug, for instance, the three of us. That takes us all the way back to high school and college days. Where how many can you jam in there?
Yeah, but you, as in my family, we both had squarebacks. We're about the same age.
Yes.
And it is really funny because you couldn't even get it with seatbelts.
For what?
If you wanted to, right? And it was really funny. I heard a great story the other day. A guy was telling that the very first Volkswagen they bought, some friends of theirs insisted that it have seatbelts. And so they put them in the seatbelt. And the first thing the guy did was walk up and roll them up and stuff them between the seats. Wow. And they were kind of like, we just went to a lot of effort to put those in this car. Yeah, it's just to shut my wife up. Okay, well, we've all been there.
Yes.
So one time or another.
So he stuffed his wife.
But we'll tell that story in number 3.
Yes. That's the cocktail show.
So let's go way back. Where did the music part of your life come from? Where did that start?
From my dad. Dear old dad. Lost him in 2.5 years ago. And he grew up playing music, played accordion.
Oh, wow.
Air Force man, served in Korea.
Thank you much for that. So was my father.
He was torn between polka music of Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, and the music that's in the cowboy songs that you hear out west, Sons of the Pioneers and Gene Autry and that sort of thing.
Yeah. And that was this... You really were born in Claude, Texas, or is somebody fooling me? You were born in Utah.
No.
No?
I was fooling you.
No,
okay.
He was fooling again.
Okay.
Yeah, I was born in Detroit, Michigan.
Motor City. Here we go. We're going right back
Selfridge
to
Air
our
Force
roots.
Base. I'm telling you.
Really?
I had no control over there.
Are you sure?
Yes. And Dad always wanted to be out west. So in 1966, he and a friend of his hopped in, I think it was an old Pontiac Catalina or something. And they drove down Route 66. They were going to Las Vegas to see. So in 66, there was no I-40 in Amarillo, Texas.
Nope.
There was no I-40 and a whole lot of it between here and Detroit.
Amarillo Boulevard.
He came back and said, we're moving out west. I found just the place. A German restaurant was opening in Las Vegas. So in about June of I believe it was June 1970, 69, we left Detroit and landed in Las Vegas.
You were 10, 11?
10, yes.
10.
There was nothing in Vegas like it is today.
No.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, we both have great Vegas stories. We'll tell that in another episode.
Yeah.
So that was really fun. So are you playing the guitar yet?
I was playing banjo.
Banjo?
Polka music.
At 10?
Yeah, the polka music, a lot of us know from back in Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, the Lawrence Welk Show. Dad was on their show.
Some bauble music, right?
Right. And Dad had a hit song in 1963.
Okay, what was it?
And we all know it. In heaven there is no beer. That's why we drink it here. And when we're gone from here, our friends will be drinking all the beer.
That's a great song.
Awesome.
You can Google that. It's called No Beer in Heaven is the name of the song. And Art Walunas, that's Dad. And it's sold...
Say Dad's name again?
Walunas.
Walunas. First name?
That's the last name.
What was the first name?
Arthur.
Arthur Walunas. Okay. That's incredible.
And that's Lithuanian, for those of you at home. And it was a big, big hit song. But he liked cowboy music. There's pictures of Dad when he was little with an accordion, his horse standing behind him, and he's wearing the Roy Rogers vest, boots, and a hat, but he's got his accordion on too. So he liked music, horses, so he could do them both out west.
Riding a horse playing an accordion. I have a hard enough time just riding a horse.
Right.
I can't imagine trying to do
Can't
that.
do either.
Yeah, the Selmick Steinway.
So, you were in Amarillo then for a while?
No, that was at Las Vegas.
Into Vegas.
Right.
Stayed there how long?
Oh, about a year and a half.
That wasn't.
Then went up southern Utah, southwest corner of the ski resort up there, owned by some folks from California who always came to this German restaurant.
Okay.
Heard Dad and myself and one sister singing and playing the polka music. He said, "Oh, this would be great at the ski resort up in Utah," because he was a California prune picker, and he was having
That's
a
not
hard
easy
time
to say.
getting acclimated to the southern Utah folks. So we figured a family could go up there, play music, and do all that sort of thing. And we did.
And that lasted.
Well, that's where he's buried.
Okay.
And I went from 8th grade through senior year
Well, that was good.
in southern Utah. And then I said I do and did and moved all over the United States. And it's a beautiful country.
It is a beautiful
I went
country.
from Utah to Denver to Minnesota to the North Dakota to Indiana. Finally, 35 years ago, Amarillo, Texas.
And during all of that, I understand, unless somebody's funning me or pulling my leg again, you at one time were the Coors Band, right?
Dad, brother, sister, myself, the Coors Cowboy Band.
Yeah.
1980, when Coors first decided to become a major sponsor of pro rodeo, they
Okay.
still are today. Wrangler was first, Coors was second.
Okay.
They had sent people out to pro rodeos across America, go see what's out there, how we can tie in to pro rodeo. The barrel racing, that was a natural.
Yeah, I've heard that music you do. That's
So
crazy.
they heard us playing in the arena at a rodeo before the show started. They approached us. Hey, we'd like you to do that at. Let's see how it works at the national finals. Sister said, Oklahoma City? Yeah. Wow, that's back then. So 1980 was our first gig. 1979, our first gig as the Coors Cowboy Band
Okay.
at the old Marriott Center in Oklahoma City.
But it took you all over the U.S.
And we were gone 48, 49 weeks a year.
That's what I had heard.
All over. You name a pro rodeo, PRCA rodeo, and a lot of others, rodeo state fairs,
Yeah.
we've been there. We've played music at. Kissimmee, Florida, to Calgary, to all over Oregon, Washington, Idaho.
And you didn't fly to many of these.
Nope,
Not back then.
none.
None. Okay. Many's not a good word.
That was in the bug you had.
Yeah, no, it wasn't in the squareback
Yeah.
because we had a bass fiddle in the band. So,
That's a whole nother song.
you know, if
isn't
you're going to play in rodeo, you got to have a bass fiddle in the band.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure
Thank you.
that was correct. So how did you end up overseas? I've heard some Germany stories and some
Oh,
other stories.
I've been very fortunate. 26 different trips to Germany, Austria, Switzerland. Still have great friends over there.
They love
Was
country
down
music.
at the ranch, at the High Card Ranch in Clarendon,
Okay.
April of '89. Vance and the Coors Cowboy Club guys, we'd go down and cook for the roundup. Take our chuck wagon and
Y'all
had
still
a
cook
big
today.
camp.
It's incredible.
And Jerry Hodge would always bring some guests in his business world that were complete dudes. Bring them down to the ranch. Hey, we'll show them how we brand and, you know. 'Cause we
The
drag
original
them.
Dude Ranch.
Yeah, this ain't a TV cowboy show. This is a real thing.
Yeah.
And one of the city commissioners at that time, John McKissick, called Jerry before cell phones. This was '89, and Jerry and I were up at the house because camp was down in a big draw by the waterfall. It was a neat, beautiful place. And he said, "Hey, there's 4 people here from Germany. One's a tour director, travel tours. One's a concert promoter, and their wives. They want to bring them down. We're Brandon. Tell them to just bring whatever they got, and we'll make room for them. Because we're sleeping on the ground in bedrolls the way you're supposed to."
Elvis still
Yeah,
does
Yeah, I
they-
still do
still today.
they showed up, and they had a blast because the folks in Europe really love the cowboy image and
There's no
the way
question.
of life and all it represents. So they stayed 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Dieter Dorner, he said, "I'd like to have you come and play at my birthday party." And I said, "Okay, great. Where?"
In Germany.
He said, "In Grunsberg." You know, where the hell's that? Yeah. I thought it was down by Kittiquay or something.
Down by Claw.
Yeah. But it wasn't. So he
The other
said,
side of the big Texas.
Right.
he said, I am a travel agent. I'll send you. You have a passport. I didn't at that time. Get one. And the rest is history. And went over there and played, stayed in his house, and we toured around. We promoted. He put together
How
cowboy
fun.
tours for German people to come.
Now, is this in the 90s?
This
What
was
years are we?
This was June of '89 was his
Okay.
first trip.
Yeah.
I remember waking up in the airplane as we're coming into land at Frankfurt, at the old Frankfurt airport. Looked out the window and there's the snow-covered Alps, and I said to myself, "What in the hell am I doing here?" Wow, music has taken me everywhere.
That's
And,
wonderful.
and landed and dressed like this. Didn't really blend in with the locals there in Frankfurt.
I think.
And back then, that's when the wall was still up, the Berlin Wall. And
Yeah.
the gentlemen walked around there in uniform, packing, and they weren't, it was real.
But he liked your hat
Everyone
better
was,
than his helmet, probably.
It was great. And that trip happened. That happened, and then that went through 1998. I went there just 2-3 times a year, playing in Germany, then Austria, and the Fasching that we call Mardi Gras, and then went over into Innsbruck, Austria several times, an annual event, played there 6 years in a row.
And did this was polka type music still? or-
No.
No? It's country.
This stuff.
Country stuff. That's incredible.
The first song I ever played in Innsbruck, Austria, there was 10,000 people there. It was a big show.
That's a big show.
They'd been there most of the day, and one of these friends knew the guy who was putting that show on. He said, "Hey, come on down." Why? Well, we'll get you in, we'll squeeze you in somewhere. I wasn't on the bill. And so he introduced me, and I walked out, and these people had been there all day. They weren't drinking water all day. I mean, they were knocking down some good German and Austrian beer, eating bratwurst.
Some of your relatives.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
And I walked, and he blah 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 blah. I didn't understand a word of German at that point. He said, "Sit down," or "Come on out." And I heard my name, and I said, "Howdy," and they, "Howdy!" Hey. And the nerves are about 30 seconds, and then they're gone. Whether it's playing right here or there, the nerves are there every time. Till you play a little bit, and I was dancing with my darling to the Tennessee waltz, and this was a massive stage and sound system, and it was just cranking. And the people are doing this with lighters or candles or whatever. And I was going to do 3 tunes and then get the hell out of there. I was there an hour and 20 minutes.
That's
I couldn't
fantastic.
get. I said thank you, and I'm walking. No, more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they just kept pushing. The headliner is off to the side here. He's from Australia, and at that time his name was Jeff Turner. There still is Jeff Turner.
I was going to say.
And he speaks English, and his whole band does.
Yeah.
And I can see him over there just boiling.
Fuming. Oh, yeah.
And I would have been too.
Yeah.
Now, what the hell's going on, this guy? And I said, no, I'm pointing here. And they said, no, man, zinging. So, I finally walked off soaking wet. It was amazing. And I said, "Mr. Turner, I'm so sorry." And he wasn't too happy with me.
Yeah.
He said to go do something to myself. And the guys in his band they said, don't worry about him, he'll get over it. And the crowd was ravenous, and they loved him. And he did a great show, and afterwards we shook hands.
They got a
Everything was
longer
fine.
concert, and things went on.
It was, and that's how it happened.
So,
And so how did I get to Germany? Because I was branding longhorns at the High Card Ranch, playing cowboy songs around the campfire that night.
it's such a perfect story of how so many things happen in Texas.
Unbelievable.
Right? So many things that happen are never on a piece of paper. They're never planned. They don't have a signature. Nobody agreed to it, but they come to fruition. That's unbelievable and turn into just amazing stories.
My wife says, "Oh, you can plan and think you did it." She said, "Good Lord knows all."
That's it.
And-
We plan, he laughs.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Oh,
pretty
yeah.
much
Watch.
where it
He
goes.
thinks he's going to do this now.
Off it goes.
So that's how the Europe thing happened.
So the reason we've gone through all of this is to be a little German car company, and to be a car company and a German car company in a Texas town of Amarillo, and how we got to having much fun and doing what we're doing, and actually being the first rodeo that Volkswagen can find that they actually sponsored when we sponsored it with you last year. That thing made it all the way up to the top, and they pretty much want to send it back and say, I think there's a misprint because somebody wrote the word rodeo on here. And how did we get involved in a rodeo?
Well, I know how it
We have
happened.
we have an atlas, right? We have a incredibly large.
Yeah,
good
great
vehicle, too.
family. This Joe and Laura Street.
Yeah, amen.
They are great supporters of all Amarillo, everything. Baseball, football, high school, cattle,
We love this
wheatgrass. And this guy, part of our cowboy club.
Yep.
And he said, I'm going to, and it was meant to be.
Yeah,
See?
it was.
We planned, he did.
He did. That's right. So we're doing it again.
That's right.
It's kind of what's got us here talking about this today. So our dates this year are.
June 5, 6, 7.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
4, 5, 6, 7. The first full
weekend
weekend in June.
That's how.
Yeah,
I figured that every-
CurtisCowboyClub.com. You can find it all there.
If you have never been to a rodeo, and there's two types of rodeo that I've learned through all of this, and this is more of what is a ranch rodeo, right?
Correct.
Would be a better
Working
term.
ranch rodeo.
You got to come see the difference, and I had no idea until I went that night and watching the individual ranches compete against each other in the different categories and the pride, and then you see these horses. And I started talking to some of these guys, and I'm thinking like car talk, right? You know, and we think of a $18,000-$20,000 car. It's a nice car, and I'm starting to talk to some of these guys, and these
I
are
know.
6-figure horses.
Horses, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
These are 100 and a half. You know, well, the first time he said 100 and a half, I'm thinking, man, that's cheap for a horse, $150. He's like, what are you drunk, son? He said, I'm not talking about it. It's $150,000. Wow. I'm thinking, oh, you mean all these horses, right? Everything. I'm like,
No, just that
yeah,
one.
this old Cedric the Entertainer here. I'm like, whoa, okay. Then you see the performance of these horses, and you see that horse bust after that sheep or whatever, and you go, wow.
That was the other
was
movie,
fast.
The Sheep,
Yeah, we'll talk about that one on the next show
on the
too.
next show.
Yeah. So you have to come see this, and my favorite competition is all the guys having to jump in the truck.
Yeah.
Y'all can have all the rest of that.
Yeah, the trailer loading, that's because all the events we have are what we do. I've worked on the High Card Ranch for 11 years.
Yeah.
Every day doing what they do, what we do. And then come to the rodeo. Now, you ain't competing, you need to play music because we have the band in there playing and having a great time. But they're doing
Best entertainment in town.
Team penning. They're doing stray gathering. Because if you're out in the middle of Paladar Canyon down on the Sixes Ranch, for instance, okay, you see a steer down there and he's injured. Well, you need to give him a shot, or his ear is infected or whatever. And you're by yourself. You've got to throw a trip him,
Okay.
and he goes down, and your horse is backing up, keeping tension on him. You get down and you tie 3 legs together with your picking string,
So you can work on him.
then you can work on him.
Wow.
Or the doctoring, you'll have 2 guys, and it's just faster with the same result. Or you got a bad cow, and she broke her leg, or there's just so many things. So these are the events to see who is the best. And the ranches, you know, we're all friends,
They take it serious though.
but it's
When it's time for the
we
buzzer.
kicked your butt. And
Oh,
everything.
amen to that.
They love it.
But last year, if what's it called again? When they have to put them all in the trailer and then jump in the truck.
Trailer loading.
They got to load them in the trailer.
Yeah, right into the herd.
And then
And select.
then the
the
fence
two
is
numbers.
blocked, and then they have to tie their horses up, and then they all have to come around, and 4 grown men have to get in a single cab pickup and get the doors closed. Well, last year, it's all about time getting it done. Those 2 boys that jumped up and ran down the top of the trailer, through the back of the truck and in, and cut. Hell, I don't know how much they cut off. A couple of seconds. They smoked everybody. That was something.
Yeah, 2 steers, 2 horses, latch the gate,
Yeah.
and get in the truck. And I
honk the
think
horn.
they honk the horn.
And they have to honk the horn.
And
But you get that's worth the price of the ticket. I promise.
and every year there's 2 that finish 13th and 14th. They go to the end of the waiting line to get back in.
Yep.
And last year the JA, the year before, so JA wasn't in it. And their foreman is a good friend of mine, Randall Gates.
Yeah.
He's the world's tallest ranch cowboy. In his socks, he's 7 feet 1 and a little.
Holy cow.
He's a big man.
The way they say he has to do his shirts, they'll cut it off right here. His wife will cut it off right here, and then add on
And
A full sleeve.
Yeah, they
shirt.
buy
That's
2
how
shirts
big
to
he
make
is.
1.
Yeah.
And
His knees are completely bit when he's on the saddle. Otherwise, he's dragging in the dirt, right?
Everybody else is riding a horse, and he's just walking eye level to him.
and
He's 15 and a half hands all by himself, isn't he?
He gets
he's
in.
a Clydesdale.
And they would get in the truck. He would be in it laying on their laps with his feet sticking out the door so they could close the doors.
It's crazy.
You got to come. It's
Yeah.
at the it's Baxter Building, right? No, not Baxter
That's,
Building. It's
National
at the
Center.
Emerald and that
Next to the
Tri-State
Baxter Building.
Fairgrounds.
So What year is this going to be?
33 years we've done this.
Okay.
And it celebrates the history and the tradition. The Texas Panhandle is one of the last places. There's some big places up in Nevada and Wyoming, but the Panhandle of Texas, eastern New Mexico, Oklahoma, some of the biggest ranches ever in the country that still exist, and they operate and survive as ranches with cattle. And you need a guy living here with his wife at this camp, they'll call it, and it'll be 15 sections, which is 15 square miles that he takes care of. And his herd, and he's got 5 windmills and water and salt, and then over here, and so they all get to come to town once a year, and they do have a few cocktails while they're here.
Yeah, it's probably the other cool part about the rodeo is that
families.
alcohol is served at all events. So,
All the families come, the moms and dads, and you see their kids, the little guys,
Yeah.
spurs, chaps, boots, hats, just like Dad and Grandpa. And
well, even up on the whole promenade up on the top, walking around it, all the things that are for sale and meeting all those people.
yeah, it's like everything cowboy.
It's one of the best events we have going, without a doubt. And that's why we were so thrilled to get to sponsor and get a part of it last year and be an even bigger part of it this year. So
And it's very inexpensive.
very. Yeah.
Friday night and Saturday night, the Cowboy Club cooks a meal on Friday night. You show up at 5 o'clock. You get. We're going to do chicken fries and all the sides.
Yep.
All the beer you can drink till 7 o'clock from 5:30, hour and a half, and your rodeo admission and the dance admission is all one price, $17-18.
Yeah.
Total.
Best-
That's it.
Best bargain in
Can't
town,
beat that,
without a question. So we can't look forward to that. And you mentioned family. And this is all about family, which is what we're all about. And we always have, like you said, with Joe and Laura, what they've taught us through the years. And the Coors family still attends.
They still come.
Still come. Can't wait to do it. Can't wait to. I mean, June just can't get here soon enough. We're going to have some fun stuff there. There'll be all kinds of new Volkswagens. We'll have them all over the place. But it's not just about that. Yeah, it's a lot of fun for us to be a part of this. But it's about keeping things in our community and driving this community and keeping that part of what's going on alive. There's so many changes. And that just good old, wholesome, down home, clean, fun, family, great rivalry. Like you said, these guys, once they're on the horse and once they're out competing, it's all about that. But on the way back, it's hand each other a beer type deal.
Exactly, and that's
laughing
it. Oh,
about it. And that's the
You
difference.
kicked our butt last night, man. That was,
Yeah, and so there's 3 nights of it, right? Total.
Right.
Yeah.
And we'll kick it off on Wednesday, the first high noon on the square. With the Cowboy Club will be there cooking. You'll be there flipping burgers along with Elvis.
Absolutely.
And that's
Come down.
the high noon was the lunch downtown at the old Potter County Courthouse. So
We'll have
it's,
lots.
it's a whole week of cowboyism.
Yeah, if you've never been a part of it, you just have to come, and we just have so much fun. And we'll be doing all kinds of fun things and giving tickets away all the way up to it, and we'll have guest appearances, and you'll hear us getting down there. But you also get to hear Ed and the band. And what is the band called?
Coors Cowboy Band.
Still-
They're all coming to the Coors Cowboy Club All Ranch Rodeo. On Saturday night, we're going to really have a ball. Oh, yeah, just come on and join us. This a little music behind you, see,
That's
as,
it?
as you're talking. Yeah.
Well, we can't wait for it to get here. Come see us at Street Volkswagen. We'll be doing all kinds of fun things with it. But we do sponsor a lot of things. But we definitely wanted to do this and let you know how much fun it is. And Ed's on that mic for 5-6 hours a night, just telling stories and singing and making it so much fun that we just can't wait for it to get here. Really.
And I'm going to really try to have a Volkswagen hanging from the ceiling if I can get that done.
We got room.
I think we do. So
We'll have something crazy. We're kind of known for that kind of stuff. So
Well, you show up at the rodeo, we'll treat you so many ways, you're bound to like one of them.
that's a good way to look
like
at it.
that.
It's kind of the same thing we tell you about coming in and buying a car from us. We'll find a way to make it work. So please come see us at 5000 Sauncey and come see Elvis and meet the crew, and you don't have to buy anything. There's free coffee all the time, and
I'm still looking for the Lamborghini.
we're going to have a Lamborghini before this is over, I promise. And we've sold a couple. We may be able to make that happen. We may talk to our good friend Dr. Mack and see whether we can bring that Urus down
you
there.
get
That
in it?
is a spectacular.
No, you put it on.
Oh, you put it on? You don't.
Yeah, no. This thing's big enough. You can get in that thing with your hat on. You won't believe the size of that interior. It's super cool. You've seen it in other videos. We've had pictures of it. So
That's awesome.
thanks for watching. Sorry we ran long, but it was such a great subject and so much fun to talk about. And we look so forward to you joining us in June and being a part of it. And thanks for watching Street Talk with us. Just too much fun. Thank you, Ed.
You bet. Thank you. We'll see you at the rodeo.
Thanks, Elvis.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.